Today is Wednesday, February 8th. I keep wanting to say January. I can't believe it's February already. Like, who's with me? Like, it's crazy. But I just filmed a video, like an actual, like, bag-related video, which was actually quite difficult for me to film. It wasn't difficult, but I kept getting like, tongue-twisted and stuff because I haven't done, like, a bag video in a while, so I was, like, forgetting everything, but we'll see how it turns out. But since I had already like set up the camera and everything and I didn't have to hold it in my arm for like 20 minutes, I decided that I'm gonna come on and share some more stuff with you guys. And okay, I'm gonna start this off by saying, like, it's really difficult for me to do like vlog videos because like I'm too much in my head, I guess. Like, for example, I keep thinking like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, for one thing, like if I want to share something, right, I'm like, who cares, that's not interesting, you know, and just sit there and like talk for 20 minutes, like who cares what I have to say for 20 minutes, you know? But at the same time, it's like I'm also doing this like for me, and it's like as a almost like a diary entry, I want to say. So I think what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna try to do anyway, is like when I have a thought or something that happens that is interesting for me or relevant in some way, I want to like just have like a video diary basically. And I do definitely want to share Paris because, I mean, let's face it, it's beautiful, and but I don't want to make that like the focus, I guess. I don't know, I'm gonna I just like, it's hard for me to get out of my head, I guess, like, because I talked about it with my husband and he's like, it's because you live your life first and you don't make your videos the priority. And you don't spend your time trying to, you know, film everything that happens. And that's so true. Like, I love filming and I love like doing the videos and everything and sharing what I have to say. But when I'm like out there, you know, walking around on the streets and stuff, like I never have the thought being like, oh, I need to record this. Oh, I need to do this. I need to, you know, film that. I need to take a picture of this. And like, that's why I could never probably do it. Like, well, not probably, definitely can't do Instagram because it's like, I just forget, like, this is how I, you know, take pictures on Instagram. I take one picture. If it's crooked and didn't work out, like, that's it. I'm done with it. Like, I don't stand there for like 10, 15, 20 minutes trying to get the perfect picture, which I completely admire people who do, but it's not my style, not my personality, I guess. And I'm kind of like more live in the moment, so it's very difficult for me to get in the mindset of filming, even though in my mind I really want to. So I hope I explained that well. I don't know. If you have any suggestions or you have any advice for me, I would love to hear it because, you know, advice is like good stuff. So what I wanted to talk about is like little pros and cons of France and or Paris that I have not learned specifically, but things that apply to me and to my experience. I keep getting hair in my jacket. So what I wanted to start off with is, let's do the pros because it's on the right side. It's on the left side. Like, I don't even know sides. Every time my husband's like, turn right, I try to turn left. I don't know. So the first one is, okay, let's get the obvious one out of the way. It's completely beautiful here. It's stunning. It's just beautiful. Like, everything is, like, you just walk down the street and your soul is happy because it's so much beauty around you. And there are negatives on the street as well. Like, for example, there's poop, and not dog poop, I mean people poop. And like in the mornings, there'll be just, you know, poop flying around some places and somebody stepped on it and like carried it along the sidewalk and stuff, and it's gross. And I mean, what are you gonna do? They do have cleaners that clean it nearly every day, so that's nice, but you know, it's like they clean it during the day, it comes out at night, clean it, you get, it's a cycle, you get my point. But it's still like, it's just so beautiful. Like, it's a pleasure to walk, and I love walking. And I didn't grow up in a city that was very walkable, and it's not the primary, cars are the primary. So I've always wanted to be somewhere where I didn't have to have a car, and we actually don't have a car anymore because we you know, sold our car. So that's so exciting. Like, for the first time in my life, I don't have a car, and if I want to go somewhere, I have to walk there. I mean, I can take a taxi or I can take a metro or anything, but it's just so liberating and so freeing that I love not having a car, which for a lot of people I know is like, that's the dream, you know, you have to have a car and you have to go places and stuff, but it's just so freeing. And you know, to walk, like, you just say you sit there at home and like, I have that like I feel like I want to stretch my legs, right? And so you can just go outside and you can go for a walk, and you can walk towards the river and you can walk along there, and there's like beautiful paths and there are gardens, and if you get tired, you can sit down literally at any corner and have a drink, have a coffee, have some water, have some food, whatever, what have you, you know, whatever you're in the mood for. And it's such a different change of lifestyle, and this is exactly what I was looking for. Like, this is what I wanted, and it's wonderful, and really, really love it. Another thing is the availability of natural food. It's like everywhere in stores. You can get, I mean, just real foods, and that sounds completely bizarre to say, but getting natural real food is difficult in actually a large number of countries, and a lot of it is genetically modified, or it is chemically treated, or it's picked like really green and sent through gas chambers. And I mean, yeah, it looks like food, and it's kind of like food, but it doesn't taste the same, and it doesn't have the same nutrients, and it doesn't provide the same experience. And I really need good food for my health because I was very sick, and I've kind of touched on it here and there before. And if I don't have natural healthy foods, I will basically go back to how I was, and it's very important, which is one of the reasons why I got asked several times like why we left the States, and that's one of the reasons is because the lack of access to natural grown organic foods is very difficult, and it's very hard to progress with my health when I can't have access to healthy, just even like fruits and vegetables just from a farm that are not sprayed with 3,000 chemicals and pesticides and antibiotics and all that stuff, you know. So that is wonderful. There's a lot of things that you can get here, and there's also mineral water, which I love water. I said this in one of my the 50 facts about me, that I love to drink water, but it sounds completely bizarre, but when we're in the States for 2 months, when we were trying to get our paperwork done, which is why we were there, by the way, we were trying to get our visas to France, and I was thirsty the entire time. Like, it doesn't matter how much water you drink, you're thirsty. Like, your thirst never quenches, it never goes away, and it was so difficult. And the moment we got here, it was just like water. I can drink so much water. We like over the week we had so much like bottles of water. We like lined them up, and like I threw stuff at them because there was like 20 bottles, just like empty bottles in it. But it was like bowling, you know, like you throw a ball at it and they all go flying like pins. So the next one is, I said the water, yeah. So easy to walk. Oh, and the air. The air is very crisp and fresh, and I have no idea why. Not that I'm complaining, but they're not near the sea in any way. It's not near the ocean, near a body of water. It's kind of like smack dab in the middle of the land, but there is very crisp, fresh air. And there's actually, especially when it gets overcast and a little drizzly and rainy, it's very humid, which is great for me because I love humidity and I don't like when the air is dry. And the air is so incredibly fresh and crisp, and the sun is always like out unless when it's cloudy, but it's like shiny and it's bright, and the sky is clear and blue, and it's very refreshing when you're outside. Like, you can feel the fresh air on your skin and in your hair, and it's in your lungs and everything, and it's wonderful. So the cons are, one of the things I mentioned is that some of the neighborhoods are dirty, some more than others, of course. Not to bag on, because I've mentioned these areas before in the past, but like when you go more towards La Marais, which the buildings there are absolutely beautiful. Like, it's one of the oldest neighborhoods, and in, I don't know, the 18-somethings, 1880s, 1830s, I don't know, something like that, in the 1900th century, there was a lot of aristocrats living there, and it's like that traditional, beautiful Parisian architecture. The buildings are stunning. They're so beautiful, but the neighborhoods are not that nice. There's a lot of dirt, like actual, just like dirt everywhere. There's like a lot more poo and stuff, and there's just trash. There's a lot of like people walking around, not that people walking around are bad, but like kind of like drunk people, and kind of like rowdy and more, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of more, it feels like a party area almost, because we walked there to try out a restaurant, which wasn't great actually, and it was it's just not very nice. I don't like that area. I really like the ninth, which I mentioned that is this where we're staying in. The ninth Ardosmith, which is so not a tourist area at all. It's very residential, but I don't know, like we wanted to get an apartment in the fifth, which is kind of near Latin Quarter. It's like under the river, so like we're above the river right now, and so I don't know how to pronounce the river. Is it Seine? I don't know. So it's under the river, and we went there to check it out, to take a look at the apartment, and we didn't end up getting it, but the neighborhood is really beautiful and it's nice, but it has a different vibe, I suppose, and I don't know, it's more like, okay, there's several schools there, and it's more like school, and I don't even know how to explain it. I'm terribly explaining it right now, but it's more like a business center. I don't know, like there's like a work environment kind of. And what I really like about this neighborhood is that it's very like residential. So I guess I'm just gonna move on from that one because I'm not explaining it very well. Okay, so one of the coolest things is that dogs are allowed everywhere practically, and it's funny because some landlords, like if they write it in the lease that you're not allowed to have a dog or a cat or those kind of domestic animals, that even if you sign the lease saying you're not going to have an animal and you go and get, let's say, a dog, and your landlord's like, you can't have the dog, you sign the lease, it's actually illegal for a landlord to prohibit pets in the apartment. So it doesn't matter that you sign the lease, it's null and void because it's illegal to have that clause anyway. So you can have a dog, have a cat, any kind of domestic pet, regardless of whatever your landlord says, because it's against the law not to prohibit it, which I think is so cool. And there's so many dogs here, like so many dogs, and they go into cafes and they go into restaurants, and they are allowed there, into stores. And it doesn't bother me because I mean I have a dog, and people who take their dogs everywhere and put little coats on them and, you know, take them around with them everywhere they go are very well taken care of, clean dogs. And it doesn't bother me that they're in the restaurant, because that dog probably lives a better life than most humans, because people who love their pets like that, who take them with them like that, take really good care of their pets, and generally, you know what I mean? So, but it's so cute. Like they're everywhere, and they're so cute, and there's so many breeds that I've never seen before. And there's so many little dogs that, I mean, literally, if you're not walking carefully, you can step on it and you will squish it, because it's that tiny and it's so low to the ground. And I don't know how the dog's not freaking out for its life, because it's like close to death every single time it steps outside. But they're so cute. And one of the things that's been hard though is the language barrier, which of course is completely understandable, but even though English is spoken here, it's still very difficult, because no matter what, like Google tries to say about, you know, translations and all these things, Google cannot translate anything. They, like, you take something French and they translated, what was I looking up? I was looking up something that I was ordering, like chicken at a restaurant, and it translated for me that the chicken comes with apple matches, not apple sticks, not apple like anything, apple matches, like box matches. Like, what is that? And you know what it came with? Green beans. It was green beans. Like, they can't translate anything. And I thought maybe, okay, in Thailand they didn't work because, okay, they don't work with Thai language, but whatever. But, like, they can't even translate French. Like, that's horrible. Like, so it's very difficult, because even though you catch certain phrases and you recognize words, you can't get the full meaning and you can't get the full experience. So I mean, I know that's going to take a while before I can finally feel like I'm a part of this, but it's going to be a long journey, because I think it's going to take like 3 years, because usually, don't they say like 3 days is the number of days to, like the first day you have to do it, the second day, and then the third day it starts to become a habit. Is that what they say? Like, it takes like the 3 day rule. So I mean, if you would apply it to a larger scale, it would be like 3 years. So the first year to learn the language, the second year to practice it, and the third year to feel more at home. I don't know. but it's been a little difficult, and because last time I moved to a different country, I was 6 years old, and I don't really remember the language barrier. I remember sitting in school on the first day of school and everyone was speaking English around me. I had no idea what was going on. It was the most terrifying day of my life practically, because I was just like frozen in my spot, and it was so stressful and overwhelming. And okay, speaking of that, like America actually really changed my personality. When we used to live in Russia and before we moved, according to my parents, I was incredibly outgoing. I was very social, and I was very talkative. I was very extroverted. So then after we moved to America, I became very quiet and introverted, and the language barrier again, coming up with the language barrier again, my parents say that it really changed my personality and my character of who I was. So I'm always curious how I would have been if we never have moved. I mean, it's interesting to think about, you know, because we do have videos and recordings from when I was still in Russia, and when I look at myself and then like a year later when we were in America, like they're two different kids. Like the behavior patterns and the manner of speaking, the expressions, everything kind of different. So I don't remember how I got on this topic, but yeah, it really changed who I was as a person. I'm incredibly introverted. It really overwhelms me. It even overwhelms me and stresses me out sometimes to talk to a camera, which I realize is just talking to myself. But in my mind, like my brain's not stupid. I know I'm not talking to myself, and I'm gonna like, you know, put it out for other people to see. So I don't know. But yeah, one thing though is getting off that whole topic is finding, like, speaking of, like, I was talking about how there's so much food here and so much access to natural foods, which by the way, the bananas are from Martinique and they're so good. But it's very difficult to find a good restaurant, and it's very counterintuitive because you would think there's so much food, you can just grab food, you know, cook it fresh, you know, and like give it to your customers. But there's a lot of packaged prepared foods. It's not even packaged, but just pre-prepared foods, and it's not prepared fresh. And a lot of restaurants, like, they don't really, I guess, put the effort. Like, you can taste it in the food that they didn't bother. They just, like, what is it, what do you order? Oh, you have roasted chicken, and just stick a chicken in the oven and take it out, and there you go. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't bother to, I guess, put their heart into it. And it's actually quite difficult to find places that have really good, like, delicious food. We did find a few. So there's this one called, we went to it last night, it's called Bouvette, and like, we walked into there and it smelled so good. And we actually walked in, so yesterday was Tuesday, so on Monday we got there at 7:30 and they were completely booked. Like, it was stuffed in there and we couldn't get a table. And it was so disappointing because it smelled so good and amazing in there. We're so sad, so we just went and had sushi. And so yesterday we came back and had it again, and it was like, the secret to going to I've noticed restaurants and stuff is, like, whatever the opening time is, try to get there like right when it opens, because within, I want to say, like 15-20 minutes is gonna be all stuffed up and you're never gonna get a table. So if they open at 7, you have to be there like at 7 if you want to get a table. That's like the best. Or maybe like if you come in the, like, late at night, but I don't know, I don't usually go have dinner late at night. So that's what I've learned, because today we went to have lunch and the place opens at 12 and we got there like at 12:15 and it was like half empty still, and then within like 20 minutes there was not a single table available. So places fill up really fast, and plus because they're kind of small anyway to begin with. But yeah, so there's that place. And then the place we had like lunch at today, it's a salad shop. It's called Nous, and I will put the names of the places below, so in case you are, you know, going to Paris or you are interested in trying out some foods while you're here and stuff, like some places, I will mention their name in the description box because they're actually really good. And yeah, I think that's it for right now. Got the pros and cons I found so far, and I think I'm gonna, like, when thoughts pop up, I'm gonna get out my camera and share them with you. Hopefully this week. I was suggested to go to the Love Bridge, which I was planning to go, but I don't even know where it is, to be fair. I never looked it up, but hopefully we're gonna do that this week, and we're gonna go to hardware store and we're gonna get the lock and we're gonna do the whole Love Bridge key thing. Are you allowed to throw the key in the river? I don't know, we'll see. I'll have to Google that. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna see you later. Bye.